I think I spoke with a musician recently.
Mhm.
She said she's like making a certain type of music because that's what her like local scene likes.
Mm.
And I was just like, but what do you like? Like there are some people who are creating in response to, yeah, what will be listened to or liked or approved of by others.
Ooh, welcome everybody to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome everybody to episode number 568 of the podcast. Hi, everybody. Again, welcome to year 12. Blackfield Music did this theme, and it's phenomenal. Go give them a listen too. But yeah, I hope everybody's. I was gonna say year is going well, even though we're already in it. Well, you know what? I hope everybody's year is going as expected or better. I'll just say that. But yeah, so, and of course, if you want to follow me on all the socials, Casting for Two is the perfect place, or this is how you do it. Or go to castingfor2.com, find all the socials there, all the platforms the podcast is available on, and you're welcome. My guest today is a wonderful singer, songwriter, musician, like a person. I have Clover on the podcast, and I enjoyed this conversation so much for many reasons, which you'll listen to, so I'm not going to spoil it. But Clover has a new EP out right now. It's been out. It's called Atlas, and I recommend everybody check it out because it's so beautiful. And I'm done talking. All right, we need to get into this conversation. Okay, so sit back, relax, and Clover, take it away.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Clover. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Allergies kicking my butt, but other than that,
Oh no.
I can't breathe, but it's fine. If I'll just, breathe through my mouth, I guess. I don't know. I'll find a way.
You sound fat. You still sound good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As somebody who uses their voice professionally, are you afraid of your voice changing as you get older?
This is a really good question. I've actually recent I recently got a new voice coach,
Okay.
and so I've been like more hyper aware of my voice
Uh-huh.
than ever before.
Yeah.
And I have thought about this. The good thing is that, I don't smoke.
Mm.
I don't do a lot of things that would cause my voice to change drastically.
Right.
Um, so I don't necessarily fear my voice changing as I age naturally, but I am like hyper aware of things that could harm my voice.
Right.
Yes.
Right. The reason why, again, because, I feel like from the time I started this podcast to today, my voice has just kind of changed. And, which I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, not being a professional voice person, I don't really do any of the exercises or the taking care of one's voice. So I'm like, whatever. But I also don't smoke either, so I'm never afraid or anything. But I was wondering about somebody in your position who's just like, I gotta keep this thing the same for, I don't know, at least 50, 60 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Joni Mitchell, like her
Mm,
voice has changed so much, but like you still hear her sing and it, even though it's different than when she was younger, it still hits you so hard. So
yeah.
like change is not necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do want to have a healthy voice for as long as possible.
Yes, of course. And and that's it's kind of the nice thing about recording is that, it's imprinted. So it's just like, yeah, it's still there, years later. And I'm like, well, yeah, it sounds a little bit different, but it's just more wise. My voice is wiser. So
Yeah. And I mean, even though you said you're not using your voice professionally, but
yeah.
I actually would argue that you are using your voice professionally.
Well,
Like speaking and interviewing people and doing podcasts that's a lot of work on the voice too.
yeah, that's why I'm saying I should treat it, like a profession, but part of me is just like, it's been so long. I'm one of those old dogs that are just like, nah, whatever. But I've talked to people who do voiceover work, and they've told me about vocal exercises that requires a straw and
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's always interesting. Maybe I should do that. But then I continue just ignoring it, and we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah. Well, it can be fun with the straw, so maybe it'll be
Yeah.
something that you enjoy. But if you're not in pain, if there's
Yeah.
nothing that's like, you're worried about, then I would say just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I just drink a lot of water. That's just kind of my mo. And yeah, no, I'm not in pain. I'm good. Um, but a thing I did want to ask you about, and we're kind of into the conversation, but I'm very curious because I was reading your bio and I saw that you were supposed to be on one of these reality competition voice shows, singing shows, and
Yeah,
you didn't go through with it.
that's true. That's correct.
And
Yeah.
uh, I first, mad respect for that.
Oh,
I
thank you.
I I get sad with these shows because there are people that come on, and this is I'll say this is my ignorance, because I don't use my voice, or I'm a singer or anything like that, but they go on these shows saying this is my last chance. And I always think, like, your last chance for what? Like, is your voice going away? Like, is that what's going to happen if you don't make it onto the show? They're going to take your voice away and you won't be able to sing or talk. And I'm just like, well, you can still do it. It's, it has to be something else. But when I hear that, that's where my brain goes to. And is it a little heartless? Maybe, but I'm just like, you can still do it. Yeah,
Yeah. It is sad to hear
yeah.
that that's where people are at when they go on to one of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, for me it was kind of like my first chance, I
Uh,
guess. And I was like, but this isn't the right chance.
mm,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna leave. But what happened was, like, I had just graduated from college,
Mm,
and I got invited to do a private audition. So instead of like standing in the line of hundreds and hundreds of people, I got to
yes.
go to this recording studio in Brooklyn. And that sounded like more my speed. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. Um, and when they said yes, I was then invited to LA for a
Mm,
month of filming before. This is like pre show filming.
yeah. Like the
Um,
backstories and stuff, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
interview style stuff.
Yes, all of that, all of that. And I have to say, like, fresh out of college, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This
Yeah.
is the best thing that could happen to me. Like, um, there's so much like promise of, it's national television.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get so many people are gonna hear your voice and hear your story. And so at first I thought, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then the more time I spent there, and I had like a mentor at the time who I was speaking with about my time there, I started to realize that the show is really, those shows are good for people who have an incredible voice
Uh-huh.
but don't necessarily write their own music
Mm,
or have their own like artist persona.
yeah.
But for someone who's writing their own songs, very like emotionally connected to their artistry, all of that kind of gets taken out of your hands,
Mm-hmm.
um, and morphed into what on TV maybe is like a really captivating story and persona, but not necessarily like true to who you are as an artist. And I
Right.
didn't like the way that felt. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is my personal entry into this world. I think I'll find another way. Yeah.
No, I love that, and I like that you still said, you know what, I know my way. I'm gonna take a chance on me. Thank you, no, thank you, bye. And because I've worked one of those shows, not the one that you did, but same network, and it's. I get there's certain aspects for entertainment, but when you had somebody that was just, I helped somebody who, I took from one room to another, and he was just like thanking me and like, oh, this is going to change my life. Thank you so much. When they were bringing him to the other room to record how bad he did. And I was
Oh,
just so
oh no.
heartbroken. I was just like, I yeah, it's messing with somebody's feelings and dreams and all that. I was like, I don't know if I can do this again, and I didn't. So, but it was one of those things that was
Wow.
just so interesting that it's just imprinted on my brain that these shows are
Wow, yeah,
rough.
that's so intense.
Yeah.
And even for me, like I didn't have that happen, but the decision to leave
Uh-huh.
did not happen without like days in my hotel room
Mhm.
just crying, like uncertain of what I was doing. I mean, I was also so young, like yeah, but it's it's very intense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then so you mentioned that um you were writing your music at the time.
Mhm.
Is kind of going all the way back before the show, before any of that. Like when you first started writing your own music, were you ever hesitant to like bring that to people or to, let people hear it?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a journey with the music because I
Mhm.
am someone who I do love sharing my music,
Yeah.
but I also write about very personal things sometimes. And so I would often, when I first started writing music, feel really afraid for like maybe whoever the song was inspired
Mhm.
by to hear it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I grew up in a home where like my parents struggled with addiction and they eventually got divorced. And so like my upbringing was really complex and I have written a lot about that. And it's it's pretty wild. Now we're moving into just a few like 2 years ago, so post this show, but both of my parents ended up passing away.
Mhm.
And it it's so crazy to say this, but that after they passed, that's when I started feeling like safer to share the songs that I had written about my experiences growing up. So up until that point, I felt so much shame and fear
Mhm.
around sharing those songs.
Yeah. Wow. Oh. And I mean, my condolences to you losing your parents. But I am glad that you do feel this, like, oh, I don't want to say weight has been lifted, but the idea that, oh, okay, now I can, present more of myself to everyone, and see
Yeah,
more of my heart. And it's still that, like, that's a beautiful thing.
it is. It is. And thank you so much. Um, yeah, it doesn't take away like how hard it's been,
Yeah.
but it has been freeing for me as an artist. It's kind of like offered me this lesson in really being as authentic as possible, and knowing that not everyone is going to like you.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean you shouldn't share who you are.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, no, I definitely always feel like these, musicians come out of the gate and yeah, they just want to be liked by everybody and are willing to maybe, not be as true to themselves. Uh, which, okay, if that's the way you want to do it, no shame. But I feel like eventually the true to themselves just kind of comes out.
Yeah.
We all find it when we find it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I spoke with a musician recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I had never met her before, and she said she's like making a certain type of music because that's what her like local scene likes.
Mm.
And I was just like, but what do you like? Like there are some people who are creating um in response to, yeah, what will be listened to or liked or approved of by others. And that's just, I guess, one way of being a creator and artist. And it's not necessarily bad, but it's definitely not the way that I make my music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I look, and I had the chance to listen to the EP, and I really enjoyed it. So whatever you're doing, I mean, look, you don't need me. You don't need me for advice, but still, I just want you to keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Oh,
Because
thank
it's
you.
so, yeah, of course, your music is very lovely, and um, I'm like I said, the you have a new EP that's out. Was there a song on the EP that just kind of, I don't know, wasn't really coming together or needed, a little bit more extra time than the other songs to work out, like just whether
Oh
it's the
my
lyrics or
goodness.
the music.
Yeah. The first song on the EP, it's
Mm.
called Who Knew. We've recorded like maybe three different versions of that song. Um, the first version was actually recorded like, I don't know, I guess 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Um, at a different studio, at my friend's studio in Hoboken called The Diner. And back then it was like kind of a rock song all the
Uh-huh.
way through. And then over time, it's just morphed. Like it kind of became a song that it's exactly the way I feel like it's meant to be in a recorded version, like the
Uh-huh.
way it's been captured. Um, but it's one that's really hard to replicate live now. Whereas
Mm.
before it was like a rock song, which is just like you just play it through and it's like
Right.
it sounds exactly how it is. Um, yeah, so that one it's just been through so many iterations. I would say that's the one that I don't want to say like I struggled with the most, but it really just has been sculpted so much over time.
Okay. I, um, uh, I like that you said that, it's kind of like, I don't know how we're going to play it live because during the pandemic, that was, I kept getting that a lot from musicians where they would just go lock themselves in a room and just come out with this thing with like 20 different instruments and like all these pedals and I'd be like, "Oh, how have you are you looking forward to playing that live?" And they're just like, "Live?" Like I can't even process that. Like and I don't know. I think that's kind of special that I mean, if you figure out, you figure it out. But something that's just kind of, oh, it'll live here. This is where it'll be. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just, I like that.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense also. I hadn't thought about it this way, but that might be why we struggled with it so much is because it's a song about the experience of living through a pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's with what you're saying now of, translating what we were all making in our bedroom, like alone,
Yeah.
to performing live and like wanting to make this big sound.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it just makes sense that it would be hard to replicate.
I
Yeah.
it's that pandemic. Man, it's that it's wild to think that that actually happened because now we're just kind of far away from it. But yeah, I'm just like that. Yeah, that did happen, right? We didn't just all go to sleep and then
Right.
we're okay now. Like what? And yeah, it's uh, after a while. Because I mean, that's all I would talk about was the pandemic on the podcast, and then I was just, you know what? I'm done talking about the pandemic, and I just stopped. And I guess that triggered in my brain. Oh yeah, it never happened. Anyway, moving on. Well, okay.
Right.
But man, and it was nuts. It was just I don't even have to say it was nuts. We all know it was nuts. So man, now kind of the flip side of that question. Was there a song on the EP that just kind of fell into place a little bit easier?
Hmm. I guess I don't know. The rest of them were pretty flowy, but I would say Anymore, the last one
Mm.
on the EP, that one is the most simple in terms of like instrumentation, and it's pretty short as well. That one I wrote um the morning that my so I know I'm throwing a lot of like dark things, but this is just my truth.
Yeah, you know what?
That my dad
We're
went.
going with you. Well, let's do this.
Okay, okay, sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, the I wrote that the morning that my dad went to jail.
Mhm.
Um, and I just woke up with this like pain in my chest, this kind of like shock of like, oh, this is actually real. This is
Mhm.
reality. And I went downstairs to the piano, and that one just like really came out as it's a piano ballad. And um, when we brought it into the studio, I just did, I think, one or two live takes.
Uh-huh.
And then we added a few things on top of that, but it was very simple. And honestly, even though it all flowed very well and we ended up just like using a live take, there was a while where I didn't like it. I didn't
Oh.
like the way it sounded. I
Mhm.
just thought I sang it and it was bad. And then time passed and I listened back, and I think maybe it was just that it was too raw. Like
Mm.
it made me uncomfortable
Yeah.
that it was like just so real.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh wait, no, that's the whole purpose of making music, is to make you feel those things. So
Right.
I shouldn't turn away from that. And then yeah, we ended up using that on the EP.
Oh, wow. Wow. Um, I know we've talked a lot about the feelings and how deep you write. Is it hard for you to sing some of these songs to people? Like like say you're playing a show. Like, do you are just like, okay, here comes the next one, or do you just kind of like go into like I don't know a show mode and then are able to just I don't know perform everything and then just kind of
Coast through.
yeah.
Yeah. I it is hard sometimes, and I actually one of I think one of my roles as an artist and a performer is to make people feel more comfortable to
Mm.
express their emotions, to cry, to feel joy, and to feel like ecstatic, and all just like feel the full spectrum of emotions. I think that that's my role as an artist.
Uh-huh.
So um in order to make other people feel comfortable in doing that, when I'm on stage, it's very possible that if you come see me at a show that I will cry on stage.
Yeah.
um yeah, and I don't like there was a time where I tried to stop that. I was like, no, I need to be on stage and be a performer and like have my shit together. Oh wait, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. You can
Oh
bleep it
yeah.
out.
No, no, of course. No, go right ahead.
Okay. um and then I realized that actually I think that it's my superpower.
Mm.
It's like if I'm able to be vulnerable on stage in front of others and cry and show other people that it's okay and that it's safe,
Uh-huh.
then I feel like I'm being like, I'm fulfilling my role, I'm being of service, that's when I feel like, I don't know, that's a part of my show and my performance.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, I recently had my EP release show, and we had one in Brooklyn and one in New Jersey. And the one in New Jersey, we actually had in the park where I had the memorial service for my mom a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I did not anticipate how intense that would be for me. And
Yeah.
so I felt like I was going to have an anxiety attack before the show, and I was like, this is weird, like I don't understand, why am I feeling so stressed? And then when I got on stage and was in front of everyone, I looked around and I was like, oh my gosh, the last time I stood here with like this many people around me was the memorial.
Yeah.
And I just decided that I was going to let myself be like just honest about how I was feeling. And
Yeah.
I think I can't wait to hear the recording. I haven't heard it yet, but we recorded the show, and there's this song that I wrote called I Cried at Costco that yeah, is about the time the first time I went to Costco after losing my mom. And
Yeah.
that's like where the only time I would go to Costco was with my mom if we were like getting stuff for a holiday gathering or something. And I saw something that reminded me of her, and then I just became like a puddle crying on the floor of Costco.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when I went to like perform that song at the show, I totally lost it. And I think that it was probably one of the most like powerful performances of the song that I've ever done because
Yeah.
of that. Yeah, so that's kind of the way it goes for me.
You know what? Look, I love your superpower. I feel like it's in a world where we're so emotionally bottled up and all that. I think it's cool and healthy that you're just, this is how it's gonna be. This is how I'm feeling. Let's go. Let's like either get on or you can just leave.
Yeah,
I love that.
exactly.
I love that. And Father's Day just passed, and my mom wanted to go get a hot dog at Costco because that's something my grandpa loved to do.
Oh,
So they
wow.
wanted to honor him, and I was just like, I get what you're saying about Costco and just doing these things that maybe they're everyday kind of errands or whatever, but you know what? They do mean something, so I'm right there with you.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet about the hot dog at Costco. And yeah, I've used this term. I don't know if other people use it, but I call the experience of like when you see something, hear something, smell something that
Mm.
reminds you of the person that you've lost, and then you kind of, you know, you lose it, as I've been calling it, a grief storm.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like when it could happen anywhere, and it's like unexpected, and
Yeah.
you just like see something that reminds you of this person who you miss, who you've lost, and then you have a grief storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, you know, Again, emotions happen. Let's hang out with them. Let's get to know them because then, I don't know, it makes us stronger. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you don't let them out, they're gonna come out
yeah.
on in their own way,
Yeah.
and that you never know how that could go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have a safe place to feel them, that's better.
Yes. Yes. Oh, for sure. But so I, I've been asking a lot of questions, and this question, you've said a lot of important things, but this is probably the most important question I'm ever going to ask you. But no pressure,
Ooh,
because there's no right or wrong
okay.
answer. To you, what makes a perfect song?
Mm, wow. Well, for me, I like a lot of different kinds of music.
Hmm.
And So there's not necessarily like one genre, I'll
Uh,
say, that
yeah.
like creates a perfect song for me. Um, but I really do love a song that makes me feel something,
Uh,
that maybe makes me think about something in a new light or makes me question something. I like when art has something to say.
uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, I really love, I guess, songs that are, yeah, tapping into emotions. It's basically what we've been talking about, I guess. Um, yeah, that does it for me. If I listen to a song and it like hits me in the heart, I get
Yeah.
this like tingly sensation, then I'm all in to that.
Yeah, I love that, and I feel like feelings and emotion in song just kind of, or music, in general, just kind of go hand in hand. And when it taps on something, that's when it's special. So I love that. I love your answer.
Thanks. And I will say also that it doesn't need to have words in
Mm,
order to say
yeah,
something also. Like sometimes it's easier to get, the emotion across maybe if you have words to say what you're trying to say. But there are also songs that I listen to that make me feel something without any words.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. I've been a drummer for a bit now. And I was
Mm,
telling my girlfriend that that's kind of the first thing I listen to. So there will be sometimes be like songs that I'm like, oh man, I'm digging this song. What are the lyrics? I don't know. I can't tell you because I'm so ingrained in the music, and then eventually I'll make my way to the lyrics. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get it.
I'm new to drumming. I've
Uh,
started drumming recently, and so now I also listen to drums in a different way in
Yes.
the
Oh my
songs.
God. Do you
Yeah.
have now? Okay. So do you listen to jazz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Though when I listen to those drums, I feel totally lost though.
I that's totally understandable. I got into drums because I wanted to like rock. I want to be in the Foo Fighters. I want to be in Weezer. Where are
Mhm.
those? And then my school needed a jazz drummer, and me being 2 months into learning drums, they're like, "Yeah, you'll do." Um, and so I didn't appreciate jazz at the time. Now that I'm older, I'm just like, man, I should have listened to more jazz because is it intense? Yes, but it's so interesting and amazing when everything is just in time. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, have fun with the drums. That's what I'm trying to say. Just have fun and become a metronome. You'll be fine.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that advice, and I will listen to more jazz.
And yes. And so for people at home who like to keep up with you on the online and also just pick up the EP, all that good stuff, where can they do all that?
Oh, that would be Clover on the mic, MIC, like
Mm,
microphone.com. You can find everything there. If you have social media, I'm at Clover on the mic. And yeah, you can pick up a record on the website. So exciting. I've never had
yay.
vinyl before. We also have a lot of cool merch related to the EP and a lot of shows coming up.
Perfect. I love that. I love You're on Vinyl. I like it's I that has to be such a huge like milestone.
It is. I mean, I've never had a physical thing to hold. Like, well, I guess CDs, maybe I have had that, but like not a full project of my music. And the process of designing the vinyl was so much fun.
Mm,
And also just to see, like, now when we see album art, it's
yeah.
so tiny. It's
Yeah.
like the size
Yeah.
of your thumb. So it's really cool to see it full size blown up like that.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's things that I'm like, yeah, we need to bring back the this art form of
Hmm.
album art, literal album art, but also just like I don't know, appreciating it. I don't know what I can't speak for what everybody does, but Clover, thank you so much for chatting with me. Anytime you want to come back on, I'd be happy to have you back. We'll talk drumming, and we can go
Yeah.
dark if you want or not. Either or, I'm totally with you.
Thank you so much, Chris. This has been such a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. But you have a wonderful rest of your day and keep staying safe and healthy. All right.
All right. You too. Have a good one.
You too. You too. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.